my name is Sam Cardenas. I am your Southeast Region Vice President, and welcome back to another episode of Winter Wednesday. Today I have with me,
Ritu,
and what year was your event for Nationals?
coding and programming,
Awesome. What place did you get at Nationals?
first place.
Cool. Okay, I want to get into the first question. And the first question is, what motivated you into getting into FBLA?
I started FBLA my freshman year of high school. So in my freshman year, I just wanted to challenge myself like beyond my usual academics and my usual classes. And I thought about joining some clubs like TSA or DECA and FBLA HOSA. I had all those as my options, but then I noticed that FBLA was like really well-rounded in the fact that it had so many types of events. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do yet or what my like career inclination was. So I thought that FBLA would be the best way to go.
That's a pretty solid answer. Yeah, just like it being super well-rounded. I feel like it does have a lot of like opportunity with all the events. What first got you interested in coding, and how did you like choose this event?
I've been like coding for a good amount of time. Actually, when I was maybe in elementary school, my elder sister, she had like a nonprofit organization that she founded where she taught like younger kids block coding or like really beginner block coding.
Yes.
And I participated in that. So that was like my first exposure to block coding, and I found it really interesting and fascinating. So after that, on my own, I'd just be doing some more coding. In middle school, I took some Python classes. And then in high school, I took some more coding classes. And I think over time, I just got more interested into it. And because of
Yeah.
that, when I saw the list of choices for the FBLA events, I noticed that there were some events that were particularly like CS related. So I thought that those would be the best way to go.
Yeah. So you have a lot of like background in this. Is there any other ways that you prepared for nationals?
I would just say like a lot of like competition prep, obviously, but like I have been doing events like in the CS since like freshman year. So my freshman year, I competed in website coding and development, and then my sophomore year, I did website coding and development again and coding and programming. So that definitely did help. And being in I attended North Creek High School in my freshman and sophomore years. So that was a pretty competitive school in our region. And because of that, we did have something called NCCC, which was North Creek Champions Challenge. So we had like sort of a competition within our school deciding who would advance to regionals. And so that kind of like competition before regionals definitely helped me prepare. Definitely more than like I would be competing against at regionals. So I think that did help.
Yeah, I've heard that you guys have like a pre-regional competition. That's crazy. Do you know how
Yeah.
many students you have?
Um, I mean, it's a lot and it increases a lot every year. But I want to
Yeah.
say last year we brought around like 70 students to nationals.
Dang, that's insane. That's a lot. I see a lot of you guys at state as well, like on the stage. It's
Mhm.
cool. How did FBLA help you with your leadership and confidence?
Well, I would say that overall, like leader FBLA involves like you have to know how to manage your time wisely and just like good planning skills and organization to like do well in FBLA. So I would say that's definitely one thing, and that did transfer over to some skills in my classes, like prepping for like group projects or presentations. So that was definitely one thing. Besides that, I think public speaking, like going through so many rounds of presentations like I'm guessing it must have been over like at least 10 rounds of like competitions I've been to. So
Yeah.
that definitely helped with just like being on state, being on, just presenting in front of judges and also at nationals in the final round, I had to present in front of a room of people who were also watching me, right, in the final
Mhm.
round. So I think there's like the aspect of the public speaking and presentation skills, but then also I think one really good skill that I learned was just like how to make a good presentation, which I think could apply to any event but like just making sure to like know how to portray your thoughts like in a very concise and clear way when you're giving a presentation, which I think is also really important.
Yeah, so like it just helps with like a lot of there's so many other things in life where you're gonna need like these skills, presentations, studying,
Yeah.
confidence, leadership. I feel like, yeah, I get that.
Mhm.
What's some advice that you would give someone if they're competing in this event for the first time?
That's a good question. Well, I think to begin with, this goes for all events, but like start early. The rubrics come out over the summer, so use that to your advantage. Definitely like have an idea of what you want to do ahead of time. And I would say when it comes to programming coding, like know what you want to build and don't worry too much about how you're going to build it because you'll figure that out along the way. But just have a
Yeah.
clear idea of what you're going to build first, of like a clear product you want to make. And I would say one more thing is really essential to this type of event, like a coding event, is that you should try to see who your users are going to be, right? Like in my case last year, I built a program that would be for students to use. So know who your user is or you know who your audience is and go ask them for feedback, right, of how you can improve your program. Because
Yeah.
like you alone, you're not going to know all the things you can do to make your program the best it could be, right? So like for
Mhm.
me, I reached out to like other friends and obviously I had the judges' feedback as well. But it was students who would be using the web app I made. So I reached out to those students and my
Mhm.
friend and I just asked them like, what do you think I can add to make this better? So I think that's definitely something else as well.
Yeah, like it goes to like target market and like who exactly is going to be using your website and everything. That
Mhm.
kind of goes into my next question, and it's can you walk us through what the coding and programming event was like this year and what the project focused on exactly?
Yeah, so last year or this year, last year it was basically it was to build a web app or like any program so that students would be able to get some better like financial literacy and just like learn how to manage their expenses and their like income. So for me, I built exactly that. It was a project where a user could log in, and once they log in and create their account, they could kind of add their transactions and just view all their income and expenses. So just like essentially just like managing their budget and like budget tracking.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so you pretty much nailed it. Yeah.
Mhm.
What was the biggest challenge when it came to this project and how did you overcome it?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I think one thing for sure is so like I mentioned previously, like since I was already in a pretty competitive school, like actually most people who I was competing against, they already had like the requirements down like at our internal school competition. So
Yeah.
when you see the rubric and the prompt and all the requirements, like we already had a lot of those requirements completed like in like within the state level and the previous competitions, like at regionals, um, and at state level as well, right? So I think like for me, getting those requirements done was like pretty basic because I had instructions, I knew what to do, and how to build that. But what was difficult for me was after states. So I won first at states for this event, and after that, I did get feedback from my judges, but I was a little confused. Like, how do I differentiate myself to fit out to stand out in nationals, right?
Mhm.
So just like, what do I do to make my project different, right? And from the judges, I did get the feedback that everyone's talking about this right now to incorporate AI in my project.
Yeah.
And a lot of students, a lot of students are doing that in their coding events, like integrating an AI chatbot or using AI in some aspect. And while I think that is essentially a great idea, and I think AI can help in a great way, I think I didn't want to just like use AI for the sake of it and
Yeah.
add any value. So like I mentioned before, something I did after that to pass that roadblock, I just again like talked to my friends and talked to potential users and said like, what would you like to make this program, or this web app easier to use for
Mhm.
you? And using that, instead of using AI, I ended up incorporating a virtual assistant feature. And I think that was what helped me stand out at nationals. And it was definitely very different than what I saw and heard other people were doing at nationals.
Mhm.
But I think just like thinking out of the box and knowing that like don't just add features for the sake of it. Like try to differentiate yourself and make something that's actually make a addition to your program that's actually useful. So
Yeah. Standing out, I feel like, is really, really a big thing when it comes, especially at nationals, because at that point, everyone's presentations are just already so perfected and so well done
yeah,
that
exactly.
having something very unique like that, like your own, not having AI and having a chatbot, I feel that's really like powerful because it shows that you put that much more effort into it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, can a lot of students when they start coding and programs like this, they feel intimidated. I know you had more background in coding, but what would you say to someone who wants to begin in coding or like start coding?
I think I would say like you don't have to like start super in a super challenging way. Like you can start slow. If you're a beginner, like definitely like try out block coding. That's a really simple and fun way to get into coding. And besides that, I would say like coding is one of those like hobbies and skills where you can find so much information online. Like there's so many tutorials. Like I learned everything online. There's YouTube videos and there's everything you can need to prepare, right? So that's also one more thing, like use the resources that you have. And I think a lot of people think about coding as like coding the language. And like
Yeah.
while that's the case, to me, I feel like coding is like two parts. It's like it's as simple as just like writing out instructions and like giving those instructions in a format that a computer can understand. So I feel like just like speaking any other language than English, like, Spanish, French, like Chinese, it's simply like that. You just like speaking a language that a computer can understand. So don't think too much about like the actual coding, but more of the critical thinking behind the coding and the creativity of like solving a problem. Like what steps are you going to give the computer? I think that's more important than like knowing how to put code in like a certain language. But
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way, like a whole other set of language. I feel like
Mhm.
that's really interesting. Like it's just like another way to talk to a computer.
And especially like I feel like in this time and age there's so many like new like languages coming out like besides
Mhm.
like the usual like JavaScript, Python. There's so many new types of languages. Instead of like telling yourself you need to go and learn every single one, as long as you know the big like the theoretical aspects of the coding, right? And the creative aspects of it, I think that's like more than enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I feel like I get that. Yeah. Is
Mhm.
there any time during this event that you felt like stressed, and how was one way that you overcame that?
Yeah, so I would say definitely like coming up to deadlines, right? So like when I had like my internal school competition or like the regional competition or the state competition, like when those deadlines started creeping up, like I felt definitely felt stressed, right? And for me, like personally, to manage that stress, it's like simple in this aspect of like I know that I should just practice, like because practicing like helps me know that like I've done my preparation, I've done my work. And like after doing all that practice, you should like believe in yourself that, I've done the preparation to do well. So like I know I can manage that. I think that's the
Mhm.
most important thing. And
Yeah,
obviously that goes like managing your time, making sure you're not like cramming it a day before your
yeah.
presentation, right?
I know
But
a lot of people from my chapter end up like, oh, when is the deadline? And they end up cramming their stuff, and I'm like, that's not the best way to make it to state or nationals.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there like a skill or either personal skill or technical skill that you have? Like I know you know coding and yeah, making presentations, presenting them. Is there anything like design that you think would really help someone doing an event like this?
It's a good question. Specific to this event, I feel like, as I mentioned before, just like the ability to get feedback from others, right?
Hmm.
Because I feel like in any event, like whatever you do is like, you should be determined, you should be a hard worker, you should like, be a problem solver and be able to like, persevere through your project, like despite the challenges you go through. But again, like specific to this kind of project where you're gonna need user feedback. So I think that's essential to talk to people and ask others. Don't depend on yourself to like, improve your project alone. You should be
Hmm.
asking others around you, and that includes like judges, right? Just make sure you incorporate feedback, and that helps because in the end, you know that like the product I've built, it's like essentially incorporating something that's helping everyone, right? Because they're the ones who's given me the advice of how to improve my
Yeah.
project. So I think that's also pretty important.
Yeah, I feel like being able to take feedback is good like anywhere. Like I know
Mhm.
some people like, oh well, this is my way, I want to do it this way. But
Yeah,
if you're the person that's using it is the one giving you the feedback, I feel like that's the best way to like improve your presentation.
definitely.
Yeah. Has getting first place changed your goals after high school, or is it mainly stayed the same?
I think it's like somewhat stayed the same. Yeah, because like before this event, I did have my career goals like were related to STEM and like computer science. So I think I'm like gonna continue that after high school. But like one thing I do want to say is like at nationals, I think I was the only girl in the top 10.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something like I just wish I saw more like women in STEM, obviously. And then also like I just
Mhm.
wish there were more girls in my event who I saw. Like even in like I think my like in my preliminary round at nationals, there wasn't any other girl beside me. So like I just wish I saw more like, girls like in coding and in STEM.
Mhm.
So like maybe just like in the future, like advocating for that. I think that's something I might do in the future.
Yeah, I get that. Like seeing that you're the only one there, and I feel like it's more powerful that you're the one that got first place, especially.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you want to tell anybody who's going into programming and coding for their event for a last question?
I think just like most importantly is that don't forget that like essentially through coding, you're just building a product. So don't think too much about the coding aspect of it. But what's really important is like, analytical thinking, thinking out of the box and coming up with a solution to someone's problem. Because I feel like coding essentially is just like creating a solution to some problem, like through the lens, through the use of, code, right? So just like first identify a solution to a problem you want to solve. And after that, like think about how you want to code it. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on Winter Wednesday. I hope you have
Mhm.
a great day, and it's so amazing that you made it to first place.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.